JSONs are an essential part of working with APIs. They're used for being able to pass data between different places. Now, if you're using APIs within your workflows, you may want to interact with this JSON data. However, you're not sure what the best approach is or how to tackle it. Let me show you how. I've jumped into Kestra here where we're going to make a request inside of our workflow to an API. Now, the API in question is this mock API we have here, which returns a number of different properties. We're going to come back to this in a second, but the first thing is we need to copy this URL and we're going to make a new task type here, which is called request. And this is going to use the core.request task here to be able to make a request. So now if I just press save and then press execute, what we'll see here is it's going to make that request. And if we go to outputs, we can see it does in fact return a body. Now we can start manipulating or, interacting with this data straight away by using the debug expression bit on the right hand side. As you can see here, I can put the expression directly in here and I can get a response, and I can actually put .body as well. And we'll see that that returns the same thing. So what we're going to do now is create a log task that will print this out as part of the workflow, and then we can look at how we can then go even further. So let's go back to edit workflow, and then if I do id log and then in type, we'll just put in a log task like so, and then we'll put in a message like so. So now if I just put in at the start here my response, we should get a JSON back that is going to look like the one that we just had. So there we can see it's given us the JSON back. But it is worth noting that when this expression gets rendered, it's rendering it as a string. So even though this is a JSON with a bunch of different properties, I can't just simply put square brackets on the end and put title, which is one of the properties, one of the keys here. That's going to fail because as far as it's concerned, it's just a string. And it's the same if I put dot title. Again, still a string, doesn't know what to do with that, and it will fail. So that's where we have to use a function called JQ to pass this as a JSON, so then we can start to manipulate those different nested properties. So what we can do is put a pipe in here to be able to put our function, and then we can just simply put .title like this inside of quotes. And now what it's going to do is it knows that this is now a JSON, and we can now access those individual properties. So here I'm now accessing success. So I can just zoom that in a bit. You can see that it's given me back success, but it's not perfect because it's given it to me inside of an array. The array only contains one thing, but it doesn't know that there's not more things nested underneath it. So this is where now, if I just zoom out again, we can add another function here called first that's simply just going to get us the first thing inside of that array. So now if I execute this and we have a look at the log, you can see it now just returns success, which as you can see here is the property or the value for that pair. So looking good. Now we can take this a step further because you might end up getting something that looks a little bit like this, where there are multiple levels to the JSON. As you can see, there is a level of nesting here under params. Because we've added a parameter to the URL request, it has returned it. So what do you do if you want to be able to access something that's a few levels in? Now, it's actually, as you probably suspect, you can just kind of append to what we've already done. So let me just change our URL here. And then as we can see here, I'm adding a parameter called example with the value test. So if I just put .params.example, it should hopefully return test. And so this is really useful if you want to be able to access particular properties. For example, you might want to check something against something when you make a request. So you can just check if it's worth proceeding. And I can show you here that when I put example, and first I've got to change that to params, it's going to now just return that one property. So we can see here, it returns test as expected, which is what we put here. So this is really helpful if you get a large JSON with lots of data and you want to be able to just access one particular bit. This is how you can best do that using expressions inside of Kestra. If you don't want to do it using expressions directly, you can also use something like Python here to interact with it. So here I'm able to put the body expression directly into the Python code, and then I can start accessing those properties straight away because Python's pretty handy like that. And then I can use the Kestra Python library, which I can easily add by putting dependencies and then just typing Kestra. And then I can import it by putting from Kestra, import Kestra. So now if I want to only access one particular property, I can do Kestra.outputs, and then I can just pass it a dictionary here with the new or maybe shorter data or transform data to give it back to Kestra and then use that in later tasks. So let's add that to the example. So I've added, I'm going to print out one of those properties to show it's working. Then I'm going to add a new property myself called example, and then we're going to send that back to Kestra. So let's run this. We'll see it's going to get the data, log it. Python's going to spin a container up here. It's going to quickly create that. And then if I go to outputs, we'll see that Python did in fact send back the data. So we can now use this and we can see the example with the value hello was added. So if you want to manipulate it with Python, that's another good option and quite quick to do as well. And you can speed it up as well by, instead of using a Docker task runner like I just did, you could use a process task runner, so no containers have to be created. Now we could just check one last time in that execution. If I go to logs, we'll see that it does in fact say success, which was in fact what the title value was. So we know that that's working. So those are your options really so those are a few of the options for manipulating and interacting with JSONs inside of Kestra. You can do it directly with expressions, but for some more nitty-gritty examples, Python might be a better choice. I'd love to hear what you're doing with JSONs inside of Kestra and any other guides or advice you'd love to see in the future.